Hey guys, it's Caleb from Rokblokz. Today in the shop we have this 2024 Chevy Silverado. We got a new mud flap kit for it, so let's go ahead and show you how to install it. Here we have the tools laid out that you'll need for install. Today we're going to be using a 10mm wrench. We'll be using our 90-degree ratchet here for the drives. We'll be using a 4mm, a Phillips head 2, and a T15 Torx. And then we also got a different style of 4mm Allen. And then we'll need a pry tool to potentially help with removing the factory flaps. Ours have already been taken off, so we won't be showing how to use this, but it can come in handy when removing yours. And then a level to check level. Here we have the front laid out. What you'll get in your kit is your flap for that corner. You'll get a fender edge clamp, and then you'll get your fender cap. With this version, we're going to show you how it all works and highlight it just with a lighter color so it's easier to see. And then we will be installing the production version here, which is a ABS glass fiber, and then you'll also get the hardware. We'll go ahead and put a breakdown of that on the screen right now. Before we head to the vehicle, we're going to pre-assemble our fender edge clamp with our dome nuts. We're going to take those and we're going to press them into the hex-shaped holes and recess them into the circle like so. Press that in on the other one. If you're having any struggles, you can take a mallet and lightly tap it in, but you need to make sure that the hex shape is perfectly aligned when doing so, otherwise you may damage them. Now we're going to take a look at the lower cap. What we have here is going to, once you remove the stock mud flap, you're going to be left with kind of an open cavity at the bottom of your fender. So we designed this minimal cap that can kind of go up in there and close that off. It's going to provide an extra mount point for one of our other kits in the future, and then this is going to bolt straight to the fender here, and this portion will go up, slide into the mount, and clip into the mount here, and then there's another little piece inside the fender that's going to slide into this when in place. We'll show you more of that up on the car. Now before we do that, we're going to pre-install our fender edge clamp. It's going to go on the side with the logo, and we're going to have the portion with the teeth face the outer edge, or where the fender is going to be. And then we're going to take two of our dress washers and our number 10 machine screws. Flip that over. Align the holes right here. Just go ahead and get that started by hand. Just a few threads. If it's a little bit loose, that's good. It will help slide on better, and then we can fully tighten it on the vehicle. So, just going to go ahead and get that started. There we go, like so. Now we're good to head over to the vehicle and begin installing. Here we are at the front fender. We're going to begin by removing the factory lower mud flap or cap here. Ours has already been removed and can't seem to find it, so I'm going to show you what screws to remove your lower mud flap. It'll be this screw, this screw, this screw, and then there will be two on the bottom here. And as you're doing so, there will be a pull pin here and then a pull pin here. So if you just use a little bit of force or your pry tool, just kind of pop that out. Try not to damage the main fender while doing so. The inserts can become brittle, so you may damage those, which is perfectly fine, but you'll want to keep from damaging your actual fender. Once those are removed, then we are good to also remove the screw up here. So we're just going to get the bottom screws that would hold the front of the mud flap. And there are a couple points along the bottom. We'll set those to the side, and then lastly we're going to remove this upper point here. Then we're going to go ahead and pull our liner out just a bit so that we can attach our new cap here. In order to do so, you'll come up from the bottom, you'll slide your cap so that it clips into where the fender, the lower cap mud flap clipped into. You'll want to make sure that it's aligned on the inside if you have to look from that direction, and make sure the head of this portion is on the outside of the mounting flange on the inside here. You don't want to just wedge it up in between. You want to make sure that it pinches in between on the up inside there. And once it does, you'll get it to clip. Then you can kind of lift the back side here outwards and then slide it so that lower portion and that little pin on the back side of your fender here slides into it. And now we're going to push that up against the fender here. We're going to take our 20mm flathead M6 bolt with dress washer. Then we're going to take our lock nut and our washer, and that's going to go through the bottom hole and into the fender, like so. That will help lock it in. We're going to secure it on the inside with that lock nut. We'll take our 10mm, put that on the lock nut on the inside, and then our 4mm Allen. While holding this up in place, we're going to secure that nice and tight. And there we go. With that cap in place, we can now go ahead and tuck our liner back behind the fender's edge, like so. We made these caps small and low profile, so that way in the future, or if you decide to go with oversized tires, you could chop your fender right here and still have clearance, but still have that nice clean lower cap instead of having a larger cap that you have to cut as well. So now, with all that in place, we can grab our flap, and we're going to start with this point here. We're going to take one of our 1" number 8 screws with a dress washer, and we're going to put our material spacer behind it, and that's going to correspond with this hole right here. So I'll go ahead and get that started. And get it started by hand. We'll grab our tool, put our Phillips head on. There we go. Hit that just to support it. Now we can go ahead, take our fender edge clamp, and we're going to press that portion. We're going to hold our hand and push it like so. And then we're just going to slide that till that clamp slides around the back side of the fender. And now we can go ahead, adjust our flap, align it with the rest of the holes. Now we'll take another 1" number 8 screw with a dress washer. We're going to go into this hole right here. Another screw with a dress washer, and then the spacer, that's going to go for this upper hole here. And our last one for that inner mount point right in here. For your viewing pleasure, we have the wheel turned this way, but if you turn the other way, you'll get a little bit more room on that inner mount point, or even with the wheel straight, unless you have your oversized tires already. There is generally enough space to fit a good 90-degree wrench inside there and make all these points really easy. So. Alright. Now with those all in place and lightly snugged down, we can go ahead and adjust our flap to our liking. We'll get it to where we want. You can check along the bottom with the level. Now we're going to go ahead and fully tighten down all of our screws. With those all fully tightened down, that completes the front install. You can repeat these same steps on the other side. Now let's go ahead and jump to the rear. Here we have the rear laid out. What you'll get in your kit is your rear flap for that corner. You'll get another fender edge clamp. This one's already pre-assembled. If you'd like to see how to do that, refer to the front breakdown where we did that. And then you'll also get the hardware. Then you'll also get your fender edge caps. One to show the details. It's going to have a couple of tabs with teeth that will help seat up in there. And then this one is going to align with this mount hole here. So when that's fully secured, the cap will be in place. And then we have our production unit here, which will be that ABS glass fiber coming in black. And then it blends in, has that texture with the fender. So before we head to the vehicle, we're going to assemble the edge clamp to the flap the same way we did on the front. So we'll take it, align it with the holes, make sure that the ridges are facing the outer edge of the flap. And so that, like so, that there's a gap that the fender can slide into. Now we're going to take our dress washer and our number 10 machine screw and just get this assembled by hand. Alright, that assembled, we're now good to head to the vehicle and begin installing. Here we are at the rear of the vehicle. We're going to begin by removing the lower mud flap and cap off of this. We've already removed this one. And then we're going to show you where the hardware is to remove that. And so it'll be the 3 screws along the inside here. Then there will be the 2 screws on the bottom. We'll jump to that. And now with all those screws removed, we can go ahead, remove that mud flap and that lower cap. You're going to be left with this edge that is kind of exposed, looks a little bit wonky, so we made our cap here. And all this is going to do is it's a press fit, so these teeth will slide up into corresponding slots here, like so. And we're just going to push that up and in, and it's going to clip. This inner mounting point here will align with the hole in the fender here. And now we can go ahead, grab our mud flap, and begin mounting. And take number 8 screw with a dress washer, and we're going to start with this outermost hole right here, going through our new cap and into the OEM clip on the body. With that in place, we're going to take our fender edge clamp, get that set up, pushed in, and then pull that all the way out to seat it on the fender here. Now we're going to take our remaining 2 screws and go into those remaining 2 points. Now that we've got all those screws lightly snugged down, we can go ahead and adjust our flap to the position that we want. You can check along the bottom here. Check for level, adjust it in and out to where we want it, and then we're going to fully tighten our screws down. I'm going to start with these on the fender clamp. Those nice and snug. And then snug down the rest of them. With those fully tightened down, that completes the rear install. You can repeat these same steps on the other side. Thanks for watching.